The history of the bond package started back in 2004 when the city and the county joined forces in Parks and Recreation and became one department. After that, the elected officials, the commissioners and the council decided that they needed a master plan that gave the elected officials a roadmap to figure out what are our deficiencies and where our lack of recreation and leisure services were throughout the county. So there was an effort by the director and the assistant directors at the time to put together this along with a consultant, and they gave us the 2006 master plan. The council's interest and the commissioner's interest, once approved in 2006, it was unanimously voted in, and it had a price tag of $82 million. There was no funding mechanism for it. It's always been a top priority of the commissioners and the council at the time when the master plan was put forth. But again, there was no funding mechanism. Probably about 4 to 5 years ago, there was an attempt by our joint senior recreation board to put together a $23 million bond proposal, but it didn't get that much traction. There was, at that time, there was no appetite to float a bond. What happened was, as Fayetteville grows, as the county was growing, with the military coming into Fayetteville, the bond package or the master plan started to get more traction. People started to say, we're lacking this, we need this. We've had several private businesses go under as far as tennis clubs. So there is a void now. And we were getting tremendous pressure. The elected officials were getting calls. In this day and time, there were blogs, there were emails. Both commissioners and the council came to Parks and Rec and says, we need a viable plan of how we start to institute this recommendation from 2006. Bring us something that makes sense, that follows the executive summary in the master plan for the next 5 to 10 years. So we went ahead about a year and a half ago and started to devise that plan. One of the reasons that the projects are what they are is because of the need that the community has. If you look at our executive summary of the master plan, it identifies a lack of aquatics facilities. Here in Cumberland County, we have a population of about 208,000 in the city and a total of about 319 in the total county. One of the things that I try to emphasize more to elected officials and to my advisory boards is that we have a regional group of people who live outside our borders of about 47,000. So if you take the total population regionally of this community, you're talking about 367,000 people. So when we started building our bond package, we wanted to make sure that we could have facilities that had 10 to 15 to 20-year lifespan, not just patching our programs that we've had for the last 10 to 15 years. Because we know that our community is going to continue to grow over the next 10 to 15 years, and we didn't want to keep coming back to the council, to the commissioners and said, we need more, we need more. So we wanted to build programs or projects that had a 10 to 15-year life. And that's why you see a senior center inside a multi-purpose aquatic center, because we wanted to build facilities that had some kind of connectivity to the community and had that longevity. What we like to do in Parks and Recreation is use zip codes. That tells us where people live and how many people live in those zip codes. And one of the things we did with the neighborhood pools was we went and looked at the 28306 and the 28304 zip codes. And that told us, based on the 2000 census, that we had 36,000 people living in the 28304 zip code and 34,000 people living in the 28306 zip code. So from a regional standpoint or an area standpoint, it made sense that we would have 73,000 people living in this community, and if we put a pool in a general location of a service area of from the center 3 miles out, 3 miles in, that 73,000 people could service a neighborhood pool. And that was our methodology in placing facilities. Now, some of the places that we have, and we're putting the multi-purpose aquatics or the sports complex, or our Cape Fear River Park is based on property that we already have, which saves a tremendous amount of money to the taxpayers. Well, if we're blessed to get this on the ballot and get it passed through our citizens, one of the things that happens is that the law says that you have 7 years to complete your projects. What we believe would be our first mission would be to get the multipurpose center designed, which probably will take about 12 to 14 months, and get that up and running, because that gives us the most impact for the community and gives us the ability to have that economic impact back to our revenue stream. After that, we will design, build most of the other projects over the next 7 to 8 years, get those up and running, and make sure that the citizens have some leisure services that they can appreciate.